Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Ridika's channel. And today we'll be discussing a little bit about women's hormonal health and anyone who's facing menstrual cycle issues or fertility issues or having irregular periods and things like that. So if you're someone who is facing these issues, then this video is for you. So today we'll be discussing a little bit about PCOD. So it's a condition which is a hormonal imbalance condition, and it is caused in women somewhere between the age of 15 to 44 years, basically the ages of women reproductive ages. And regarding the symptoms of what you face if you have PCOD, so there are menstrual irregularities, basically irregular periods, or having a lot of issues in fertility, or having a lot of pain during your periods, not getting your periods every month, and so on. Okay, and extreme amounts of PMS is also one of the major symptoms of PCOS. Now, coming to the various phases that are there in a women's menstrual cycle. So, there are four phases. The first phase is your menstrual phase, the phase where you actually bleed. The second phase is your follicular phase, wherein the ovary is making the ovarian follicles in order to give it out during the ovulation phase, which is the third phase. And the fourth and the last phase is your luteal phase. So the luteal phase basically starts from day 15 onwards if you are someone with a 28-day cycle. So typically it's at the 15th day when the luteal phase starts, and it goes on till your next menstrual cycle. Okay, so this was about the phases a little bit. Coming to the hormones that play a major role when we talk about PCOS, or when we talk about menstruation in general. So when we talk about hormones, there are four main hormones that we have to focus here. So the first one is your luteinizing hormone, also called as the LH. The second hormone is your FSH, or your follicle stimulating hormone. The third hormone is your estrogen, and the fourth one is your progesterone. Okay, so these are the four basic hormones that we have. Now, since we've already spoken about the phases as well as about the hormones, we'll be talking a little bit about how these hormones play a role in the various phases of your periods. So, coming to estrogen and progesterone, so these are the main dominant hormones during your menstrual cycle. When we talk about estrogen and progesterone, it's very low when your menstruation starts. Okay, so it's at the lowest peak. And the second thing is your follicular phase and your ovulation phase together. So during this time, you will see that your luteinizing hormone, your follicle stimulating hormone, and your estrogen peaks. Okay, and during your last phase, that is your luteal phase, is when the progesterone peaks, and also there is a small peak seen in estrogen again, also known as the second peak of your estrogen. Okay, so this was about the hormones and the different phases of your menstruation and all of that. Now, coming to the diet part of it. Okay, so what kind of a diet should you really follow if you're someone who has irregular periods, who has PCOD, and who has fertility issues and all of that? So the first basic principle of any diet should always revolve around protein and fiber. Okay, so like I have always mentioned in even in my previous videos, protein and fiber play a very important role in your diet. So if you're someone who has PCOD, the first major rule should be to avoid refined oils, and the second thing is to avoid refined grains. Okay, so by refined I mean something that has undergone extreme amounts of processing under very high temperatures. Okay, so this can be maida, this can be all kinds of extremely refined processed foods like burgers and pizzas and deep fried foods and all of that. Okay, so that should be the first rule of your PCOS diet. Please do not have these kinds of foods if you're someone who's dealing with anything related to your hormonal imbalances. And the second thing would be having a lot of whole grains, having a lot of fiber in your food, enough amount of protein in the food. So these are different things that you should keep in mind. Okay, now coming to the main part of the video, there is something called as seed cycling that we have when we talk about PCOD. So seed cycling is it is a scientific method. It has been proven that it really works. Okay, so there are four seeds in the seed cycling method, wherein we have the flax seed, we have the pumpkin seeds, we have sesame seeds, and we have sunflower seeds. Okay, so these are supposed to be had in different phases of your period cycle. Now, when we talk about flaxseed and pumpkin seeds in particular, we are saying that flax seeds are very important because they have something called as lignins present in them. Lignins are a type of polyphenols which are very helpful with your period cycle because they help to control extreme amounts of estrogen in your body. Okay, so there is something called as estrogen dominance that most of the women have. So one of the major symptom of your estrogen dominance is putting on a lot of weight on your thighs. Okay, so if you're someone who has this, you probably have estrogen dominance. Okay, so having flax seeds is definitely going to help you a lot with that. Coming to the second type of seed, we have pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are very high in zinc. They're very high in phytoestrogens. So they basically help the body to form estrogen, or in other words, to bind the estrogen which is already present in the body. Okay, so these are the two main seeds that you should be having the day your period gets over. Okay, so say if on maybe May 6th or May 7th your period is getting over, so on that day is when you're supposed to start this is also called as your follicular phase. So during this time, for the 15 days period of your follicular as well as your ovulation phase, is when you should be having these two type of seeds. Okay, coming to the next part of it, we have sesame and we have sunflower seeds. So these two seeds, basically, again, sesame seeds are very high in lignins, and sunflower seeds help you to deal with the progesterone levels in your body. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in the luteal phase, the progesterone levels are very high, right? So they go at peak. So in order to balance that out, we need certain types of foods that are phytoprogesterone, or they help you to produce the progesterone or to bind the progesterone. So this work is basically done by the sunflower seeds. Okay, so these are the four different type of seeds that you should be having. So the first two seeds, we have flax seeds and pumpkin seeds, which should be had the day your period gets over for the next 15 days. And then for the next 15 days till your next cycle starts would be your sesame and your sunflower seeds. Okay, now the form in which you should be having these seeds, it can be either in roasted form or it can be as it is. You can have it as a snack, you can put it in your smoothies, you can put it on your fruits, on your salads, anything that you feel like is perfectly fine. Okay, and coming to the quantities that you should be having, so the quantities is 15 grams or 1 tablespoon. So by 1 tablespoon, I mean 1 tablespoon of flax seeds, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin, 1 tablespoon of sesame, and 1 tablespoon of sunflower. Okay, so it's very important to keep in mind that when you start your seed cycling, please be consistent with it to see the results. Do not give up saying that मैंने एक हफ्ता करके देखा and मेरे को कोई result नहीं मिला. So that's not the way this cycle works. It has to be done properly, it has to be done consistently, only then you will see the results of this. Okay, so this was a whole thing about the PCOS diet and what is PCOS and seed cycling and all of that. So in case if you guys have any questions or any doubts related to this, or if you want me to shoot a video related to some other topic related to diet or nutrition, wellness, fitness, anything, please drop in your questions or your queries in the comments section and I'll take them up. Thank you so much for watching. Happy health to y'all.